They have sent the assignment. Very good. Did you went through the assignment for the corrections? Right. Last week, what we have discussed is mainly about the accounting. As you know, there are two branches. One is financial accounting, other one is management accounting. Financial accounting, we studied about past historical transactions which has been happening, where management accounting is much more forecasted information. So our discussions were purely based on financial accounting. These informations are needed for different stakeholders. So that's the importance of this discipline. Right? As we know, this is the language of the business. Reason is what has been happened in the business, what is going to be happened in the business, formally communicated through financial statement. Formal. Informally, sometimes in the discussions we may communicate, but formally communicated through the financial statements. Therefore, if you want to see the last financial year or before 3 or financial year, what has been happened, based on that you want to forecast the future, you have to refer some financial reports. And there are 5 basic financial reports, and there are 2 main. One is statement of comprehensive income. Statement of comprehensive income, what they analyze? The profit and loss. Therefore, if you want to see in a healthcare institution, how much is the profit, how much is the loss? Accounting terms, what you have to refer is what? Statement of comprehensive income. That is the new name. Earlier we called, you heard, income statement. The income statement or profit and loss statement. Profit and loss statement we call nowadays statement of comprehensive income. Right? Therefore, in technical terms, we call it as financial performances. Financial performances. Therefore, if you want to enter the financial performances, you have to go through the statement of comprehensive income format we just discussed, starting with revenue, ending up with the profit. The second statement which is important is statement of financial position. Earlier name is balance sheet. Balance sheet will summarize what? The assets, liabilities, and owner's equity as at a specific date. Where income statement will summarize income and the expenses for a particular period. Right? In addition to that, those are the main 2. Statement of changes in equity is there. Statement of changes in equity. Equity means what? Shareholders' funds. Like share capital and the reserves. Therefore, if you want to see the movement, how the shareholders' funds has been changed as a shareholder, sometimes as a potential shareholder, how their equity position has been changed, you will refer what? Statement of changes in equity. Other one is the cash flow statement. Cash flow statement is the only financial statement talks about what? Cash and cash equivalents for a particular period. The reason is you have 1 million profit doesn't mean you have 1 million cash. Because profit is just an accounting figure. Therefore, if you want to see actually how much is the cash in hand, how much is the cash at bank, how much is the short-term deposit, you will refer what? Cash flow statement. Right? Therefore, remember, if you want to refer cash position of any business, the statement is cash flow statement. Cash flow statement we discussed, there are 3 activities they have classified. One is operating activities, other one is investing activities, other one is what? Financing activities. Therefore, operating activities, how much cash flow it generates. Right? For example, in a hospital or healthcare institutions, by giving some treatments to the patients. In addition to that, pharmacy, that is their cooperation. What are the cash inflows? What are the related cash outflows? That is we call as what? Operational cash inflows and outflows. Other activities, investment activity. For the investment activity also, there are inflows as well as what? Outflows. For example, the hospital have some additional funds, therefore they may invest in fixed deposits. That's the investment outflow. From the fixed deposit, you are getting an interest income. That is an investment inflow. Sometimes they will invest in some other company shares, additional funds. That's the investment outflow. From that, they will get the annual dividend income. That's the investment inflow. So likewise, investment inflows and the outflows break up also. You can look at the cash flow statement. Last section of the cash flow statement is what? Financing activities. Financing activities. Financing activities also having what? Inflows and outflows. Financial activities are more related to the sources of finance. For example, the business may take a bank loan. That is a financing inflow because they will get the cash. Sometimes they may issue some bonds or the debentures and collect the cash. That's also a financing inflow. They may repay their loan. That is a financing outflow. Financing outflow. Therefore, if you want to see the breakup of what are the loans that we have been repaid, how much is the installment, you have to refer the cash flow statement under financing activities. Financing activities. Therefore, importance of the cash flow statement is it talks about cash and cash equivalent position of the business at the end of the middle of the financial year. Middle of the financial year. Last one is notes. Explanatory notes. Notes is a detailed breakup of financial transactions which has been happened in the business, right? Because as you know, these financial statements are summarized. By reason means we have to give the comfort for the reader to read and get some information. But if you want a detailed breakup, you have to refer what? Notes. Explanatory notes. For example, if you take revenue, you have only one figure, 5 million, no, 8 million, no, whatever the million. But if you want to see the breakup, how much is from the OPD, how much is from the pharmacy, how much is from some out there patient's care, right? Likewise, if you want the breakup, you have to refer what? Notes. You have to refer the notes. Therefore, it is responsible for the company's management to explain the breakup of the financial transaction by way of what? Notes. Especially key accounts like what? Revenue. You have to give the breakup. Cost of services provided in the hospital. You have to give the breakup. Administrative salaries, you have to give the breakup. Directors' remuneration, you have to give the breakup. Because there may be some stakeholder, they want to see director's remuneration, how it is the breakup. Right? Sometimes with the attendance, you have to present the breakup. Right? So then you can see into what extent they have been involved. Because there may be some non-executive salaried directors. So you want to see at least they have been attended for the meetings to give their comments. Because you are paying this much. So likewise, so important things you have to give in the notes. So that is the financial what? Reports. Right. So this of course we analyze two financial reports. One is income statement. Other one is balance sheet. Right. Income statement means statement of comprehensive income. Statement of financial position by using what? Ratios. By using ratios. I think you can remember we have discussed one question. Right. There are different areas we analyze. What are the areas? Profitability. We analyze the profitability of a business. That is a financial performance. Right. By using the ratios, you can analyze your past historical information with regard to the previous years, see the trend. Or else you can compare with the industry average, which is a benchmark. One area is what? Profitability. Into what extent your business is profitable. With comparing to the previous year, at the same time you can analyze with comparing to your competitors also. With comparing to your competitors. So what are the ratios that we use for analyzing profitability? Gross profit margin, operating profit margin, right? Return on capital employed, ROCE, return on equity, right? Net profit margin can be profit before tax or profit after tax. So likewise, there are formulas to calculate. Then you have to interpret by using that formulas. Therefore, it talks about what? Profitability. Then you can analyze with comparing to the previous year what happened to my business. What happened to my business, right? By using Excel, even a graphical representation also you can do after the calculation to see the trend, whether it is upward in trend or whether it is a downward in trend. So that is the profitability. Second area that we analyze, I think you remember, is what? Liquidity. Liquidity. Why we analyze liquidity? Because liquidity talks about what? Short-term solvency of the business. Into what extent business can settle their short-term obligations and run, right? Short-term obligations means current liabilities. Example, pay their suppliers, pay the utility bills, pay the income tax, and run the business in the short term. That is analyzed by using what? Liquidity. Technical term is liquidity analyze what? Short term solvency. Into what extent business is solvent in the short term. Otherwise, business will bankrupt. Now, for example, if your business doesn't have any liquidity, so that means you can't pay the salaries of your employees. You can't pay the whatever the utility bills. You can't pay the suppliers within the credit period given. Therefore, it's obvious you cannot run the business in the short term. In the short term. That's what the importance of what? The liquidity. So, what are the ratios that we are using to analyze the liquidity? One is current ratio, other one is the quick ratio. Current ratio and the quick ratio. It talks about the proportion. Proportion of current assets the business are having to settle their what? Current liability. Right? The ideal liquidity is what? 1 to 1. That means you have equal time of current assets to settle the current liabilities. Current liabilities. Right? How to interpret this? One time of current liabilities we have to settle, one time of current asset is available for the business. Therefore, short-term solvency business does not want to worry that much. But if it is like this, to settle each and every current liability, business is having only half time of current assets. Therefore, business has to worry. The reason is if this comes down, too much of reduction means the business will have a problem of settling their short-term obligations. So, likewise, the interpretation also we discuss about the liquidity. Very important question. Next, we discuss about efficiency. Efficiency, right? Into what extent the important elements of the business is efficient. So, what are the elements that we highly focus on? Inventory turnover, right? So, we calculate in times as well as what? Days. Efficiency of our inventory turnover. What do you mean by inventory turnover? How many times your inventory is converting into sales? Now, for example, let's say pharmaceutical manufacturing company, they want to see how many times during the year my inventory is converting into sales. More number of times means inventory is efficient. Less number of time means it is inefficient. More number of times means your product is having a good demand. So that's why the turnover is high. We can calculate inventory turnover by using this. Then we calculate about what? Debtors turnover. That talks about what? The efficiency of collection from whom? Debtors. Efficiency of collection from debtors. That can be calculated in times as well as what? Days. Times as well as days. Therefore, debtors turnover times more means that's favorable or adverse. Debtors turnover times more means more frequently you collect from the debtors. Therefore, definitely the debtors turnover days will come down. The number of days that you are taking to collect from the debtors will less. That is efficient in terms of what your collection policy is concerned. Otherwise, what is the risk? One of the major elements, now if you look at the balance sheet, under current assets, huge elements, debtors, accounts receivables, right? The bad debt risk is high. They may not pay. Therefore, you have to write off the debtors as well. Bad debt, which is a huge non-cash expense. Right. Then we talk about creditor settlements. Creditors turnover days as well as what? Times. Days as well as times. Then we talk about what? Leverage. Right. Leverage talks about what risk? Business is having two risks. One is business risk, that is because of the external factors, right? Their returns can get volatile. Other risk is what? Financial risk. Reason is your capital structure burdened with more long-term debt means what? Your business is basically running with what? Debt. And these debts are what? What type of commitment? Fixed commitments. You may have profit, you may have loss, but still monthly installments you have to pay. Therefore, if your capital structure is burdened with more and more debt with comparing to your shareholders' funds, your financial risk is creeping up. Financial risk is creeping up. That is we call as high leverage. High leverage. Therefore, these ratios measures with comparing to the shareholders' fund. What about your long-term debt position? Remember, long-term debt, not short-term debt. Long-term debt represents what? Long-term loans, more than 1 year, debentures, at the same time bonds. Those are the financial instruments which represents what? Long-term debt in a business. Therefore, if your capital structure is burdened with more long-term debt means your financial risk is high. Reason is those are what type of commitment? Fixed commitments. Fixed commitments. This can be measured by using basically two ratios. One is what? The important one is debt to equity ratio. Second ratio is what? Interest coverage ratio. Interest coverage ratio. Debt to equity ratios measures with comparing to the equity, what is the proportion of what? Long term debt. So let's say debt equity ratio is high with comparing to the last year. That means you have more long term debt with comparing to the equity. That is your leverage is high. High leverage means high financial risk. High financial risk. Other ratio is what? Interest coverage. That means by using the operating profit of the business, how many times I can pay what? Interest. If you can pay more frequently, that means more number of times, that means your financial risk is bit low. Right? You are having long-term debt, but you are having enough operating profits to cover what? Financial cost. Financial cost, which is what? Interest. Which is interest. But less number of times means you don't have sufficient profit at least to pay what? Your interest. That means your financial risk is not. Financial risk is right. So those are the main ratios which we have been used. Therefore, we have discussed, I think, one question to analyze a very simple question about the financial statements by using a model paper question, mock paper question. Right. So then we talk about, I think, break-even analysis. We did talk. Break-even point analysis. Now, in your assignment also, if you went through, there are two parts. Part A 30 marks, Part B 30 marks. Part A is bit of theoretical, right? When you come to the Part B, there are a few calculations that needs to be done. Part A, now look at the question number 1. This we already discussed. Question number 1. Discuss the usefulness of cost volume, cost profit volume analysis from what point of view? Company's point of view. Right? Cost profit volume analysis. Now, cost profit volume analysis means what analysis? Same as what? Break even analysis. Another name that they have been used. usefulness of cost volume profit analysis. Question number 1. Look at the question number 5. Illustrates how the break even looks like. Break even, that means cost volume profit analysis, right? Same question. And describe the usefulness and discuss some of the limitations. Now, same question seems to be repeating, right? So again, they are asking the usefulness, but these questions file 3 parts. First, you have to explain what is break even, how the break even points looks like. Then we have to describe what is the usefulness of break-even analysis, since they have asked again. And finally, some of the limitations. Because this analysis, there can be some limitations. Right? This is a management accounting type of analysis. Break-even is a management accounting type of analysis. Right? Those are the 2 questions that they have been asked from the break-even. Since we'll discuss a bit more about the break-even. Lecture notes. That's under my name. There are some lecture notes. That one is more focus on the assignment and the exam. Likewise, I can prepare. Otherwise, you don't have much time to work. Otherwise, good because they also have uploaded some detailed notes, but it's a bit of technical. Some of the lecture notes, but I have developed a bit of a system for you to easily understand. That is more useful. Right. Now, what is break-even or cost volume analysis? BEP analysis we discussed. I think we did one question also. Now, break-even analysis is a management accounting topic which talks about how the company is going to recover their what? Fixed cost. I think you remember this formula. Break-even points, if I want to calculate in units, fixed cost divided by what? Contribution margin per unit. So at break-even, is there any profit? No profit. Neither loss. Therefore, neither profit nor loss at a break-even. So therefore, what we are going to look at is what is the minimum number, right? From a manufacturing point of view, what is the minimum number? Factory, let's say Unilever, in a certain particular product, they want to calculate to recover their fixed operating expenditure. What is the minimum number of soap that we have to produce and sell? That, of course, we can calculate by using what? Break-even point. Break-even point. For that, we should know what is the fixed cost. What is the fixed cost? Right? Fixed cost can be 2 types of fixed cost. One is fixed manufacturing overhead. Fixed manufacturing. Right. Other one is fixed non-manufacturing overheads. Manufacturing overhead means now when we are having a factory, we are having some fixed cost which is related to the factory. Right? Non-manufacturing means we are having some fixed cost related to the administrative officers. Now, for example, in a factory, let's say in a Unilever, right, they have fixed cost. Factory supervisor salary is what? Fixed cost, but what? Manufacturing overhead. Right? At the same time, they have office. Whatever the administrative staff salary is, again the fixed cost. Why it is a fixed cost? We discuss what is fixed cost, variable cost. Reason is, irrespective of the volume, cost is fixed. Whatever the number of soap that they finish, doesn't matter. Whatever the administrative manager, accountant, finance manager salary is fixed. Therefore, it's a fixed non-manufacturing overhead. So likewise, when we are calculating the fixed cost, we have to consider both fixed manufacturing as well as what? Non-manufacturing or contribution margin. How to calculate? Selling price minus what? Variable cost. Right. So let's say this is whole production. You should know what is the selling price of a sunlight. Expected selling price. Expected selling price of a sunlight. At the same time, expected variable cost. Expected variable cost. Variable cost. Variable cost means what is the cost that we have to incur, and it is changing with related to what? Output. With related to the output. Now the same scenario you can explain by using a healthcare institution in a hospital. In the hospital also you have fixed cost, no? Example, like whatever the administrative staff remuneration, right? In addition to that, the equipment, whatever the depreciation that you are having is also what? Fixed cost. Sometimes that premises may be on rent basis, right? Sometimes it may be on. If it is rent basis, whatever the rent also what? Fixed cost. Whatever the rent also what? Fixed cost. Right. Then you have to calculate the contribution margin. Reason is you know what is the approximate price that you are going to charge. You are going to charge at the same time the variable cost. Variable cost that you have to incur when you are giving the treatments. What is the variable cost in the hospital? Now let's say if you take a patient, whatever the drugs that you are using is what? Variable cost. More number of patients means more number of drugs. The volume is high, right? At the same time, vaccines and the injections what you are using is also what? Variable cost. More number of patients means that cost is increasing. That cost is increasing. So likewise, when you know these figures, you can calculate the break even, right? Maybe a small, right? So let's say hospital, right? The how many patients that we have to attract per year or per month, monthly basis also you can calculate to recover my what? Fixed cost. To recover my fixed cost. Therefore, that break even means you don't have profit at the same time what? Loss. Profit also zero, loss also zero. Therefore, you just recover your break even point. Now, if you can attract more than your break even, then you are having potential for what? Earn profits. If you can attract less than break even, you have to earn what? Loss. Right? Even education program is like that. To run a particular program, how many minimum number of the students that we need for the intake to recover our fixed cost. So if you achieve the break even, you continue with the program. Otherwise, you end up with the loss, right? But still, they want to continue with the program, some reputation or some goodwill. Otherwise, you have to shut down the program. Reason is in the accounting loss. Accounting loss. Okay. So that's the importance of calculating the break even. Reason is it's give the minimum target. Now let's say your marketing department are asking a target. Now you can't just give a target, right? You have to give with some justification. Right now, if they ask why you are saying 100 patients, not 200, or why it is 100, it's more than, sometimes they can argue. So in that case, you will calculate and show, right, according to the accounting terms, we have to recover at least our fixed cost. Otherwise, we can't run this business. Right? Therefore, at the fixed cost, at the minimum number, you have to achieve at least 100. But that doesn't mean you will get the commission. Reason is 100 also, we don't have profit or loss. If you need the commission, attract something more than break even. More than break even. So that's the basically usefulness of the break even. Now this article, right? So this is about very specifically about the healthcare setup. Break even they have been explained, which is much more useful when you are answering question number 1 and question number 5. You can use some information to elaborate. You can get some information, right? Because they have explained the break even very specifically to your setup. Just take some important point. Break even point, BEP in general, point at which gain equal losses. BEP defines when an investment will generate a positive return, or also the point where total cost equal what? Total revenue. Right? So another way break even can explain is At break even, no profit, no loss means your TR. TR represents what? Total revenue is equal to what? Total cost. There is no profit made or loss incurred at break even. This is important for anyone who manages a business since the break even is the lower limit of profit when prices are set and margins are what? Determined. That's the lower level of profit, especially when you are setting selling prices, your margin per patient or margin per students, right? You have to consider about the break even. Consider about the break. Okay. Break-even analysis, sometimes called cost volume profit analysis, is an important technique used to study relationship among what? Cost, revenue, and profit. Right now, this explains some kind of relationship. No? If your fixed cost is more, in this relationship, what will happen? So let's say other variables are constant, contribution margin, selling price variables are constant. But next year your fixed cost is more. Right? Reason is your rent has been increased. Sometimes you are going to give increment for your administrative staff who are working, permanent staff. That means fixed cost is going to be increased. Then it gives the indication that if your fixed cost is going to be increased, you are not going to change your selling price, also fixed because you can't increase in the competitive market. That means you have to achieve more number of patients to be breaking. In other words, if you are having some excellent cost control, you were able to control your fixed cost. Reason is in the market may be mature, very difficult to attract more number of guests. Therefore, you control your fixed cost means your break even will be what? Less. What you want to achieve to recover your fixed cost is less. Okay. Therefore, when you are explaining by using some examples, explain 20 marks. 20 marks they are expecting. Right. Now there is an example. Can you try this? A hospital is offering, right, that is some kind of a service at a package deal with a selling price of 30,000 per operation. And the variable cost per operations comes out to be 20,000. Annual fixed cost is how much? Right, almost 6 million. They are asking how many type of these operations the hospital must do to come at what? Break even. Now you understand, right? I don't know what is this kind of operation, you may know. Right? Therefore, they want to calculate and see to be break even and to open that theatre, how many number of these type of operations that we have to do for a particular week or particular month. Just calculate and see by using the formula. So here they have been given you the fixed cost. Total fixed cost has been given. And selling price, package deal says the package price is 30,000 per one operation. Right. At the same time, the variable cost per operations, they have been calculated based on their past experience. Right. So there may be some cost accounted, no. So these type of operations, what is the approximate variable cost? Variable cost. So that is of course 20,000. So therefore, from one operation, you can calculate what is the contribution that it gives from one. 30,000 minus 20,000, therefore from one operation, it gives the contribution of how much? 10,000 from one operation. Right. So then the break even you can calculate, therefore when you are calculating its case 600 numbers that you have to do. But 600 numbers also will cover your what? Fixed cost. Only the fixed cost. Therefore, if you want, calculate the profit at the 600. At 600, calculate the profit. How to calculate the profit? For this, you have to prepare a small budgeted income statement. Budgeted income statement, right? Budgeted income statement. What is budgeted income statement? Income statement for the future. Budgeted means what? Usually income statement means past, historical, what has been happening, right? But budgeted income statement means same income statement. You are preparing for the future, right? You are preparing for the future, but because this is going to be happening in the future, next time. But earlier you want to calculate and see how many operations that we need. Now you know we need at least 600 number of this type of operations to continue with this theory, right? Otherwise it's a financial loss. We'll calculate at 600. Revenue, how to calculate? Minus total variable cost, ending up with the total contribution. From this minus the total fixed cost, ending up with what? Profit or loss. Revenue 600 at 600. Therefore, if we are going to do 600 operations, per one operations revenue is 30,000. Right. $600 operations, variable cost is per 20,000. Total revenue you can get $600 into 80. Well, so then your expected contribution is 6 million. So expected contribution is 6 million by doing the operations at 600, which is my break even. But how much is my total fixed cost also? Total fixed cost also 6 million. Therefore, I end up with profit is equal to how much? See, profit is 0. That's why I say at break even you don't have profit or loss. Profit or loss. Thus, minimum number of 600 operations must be done so that the hospital will achieve what? Break-even point. But in other different ways you can interpret. Profit or loss also 0. In other words, what? Total cost is equal to what? Total revenue. Now, what is the total cost? Right? Total cost is what? Fixed cost plus variable cost is your total cost. Variable 12 million, fixed 6 million. Therefore, total cost is how much? 18 million. Total revenue also how much? 18 million. Therefore, your profit total revenue is also equal to what? Total cost. Right. Now, what happens if the director says, I am confident that we can do 900 operations per year. 900 operations. Calculate at 900. Right? Now, if the director says, now your break even you are saying 600, but based on my prior experience, he may have some prior experience by doing this, 900 is possible. Right? Therefore, calculate and see what happened at the 900. Yes. Right. So you end up with what? Profit. That's what I say. If you are able to give the service and achieve more number of operations, more than the break even, you end up with what? The accounting profit. Accounting. Right. Now, if you calculate, now let's say if someone says now these type of operations are doing all type of hospitals. Earlier 600 is possible. The reason is we are the only one who cater this type of a service. But all the private hospitals are doing this type of operation. Therefore, only 200 is possible. If you calculate, what will happen? If you calculate, you can see you won't be able to recover at least your fixed cost. Therefore, you end up with what? Loss. You end up with a loss. That's the importance of the break. The importance of the break. Therefore, remember, if your budgeted units are more than the break even, you end up with profit. Budgeted less than the break even, you end up with what? Loss. You end up with a loss. Right? So this gives a nice analysis about your fixed cost and your expected revenue, expected profit, and how that you have to perform in the future. These informations are needed, right? Not only for the finance division, right? Other division also. Right. Now, if you won't be able to get at least 600, that gives a huge indication that your break even you have to keep minimum as possible. How to keep the break even minimum as possible? One thing is reduction of the fixed costs. Therefore, sometimes these type of medical practitioners who are doing the service, you may have pay a higher remuneration. Right. Now that of course you have to reduce it to a certain extent. Right. Sometimes these type of places you have been these whatever the premises, there may be some other fixed costs that you have to incur. Those type of fixed costs you have to control. You have to control. Otherwise, you can't operate like this by giving a financial loss unless it's a public sector. Public sector one no problem, funded by government. But private sector one, the investor will not fund. Right? If we are saying the continuous losses, continuous losses. Right? That's why you calculate and say now you know what is your minimum target. So then you have to do some kind of sometimes marketing, maybe a good service that you are giving, but you have not marketed it properly. So you have to do some good marketing, promotion. At the same time, some of the people doesn't know that the hospital is offering these type of services. Right? Still, they may have a demand. Right? Sometimes you have only offer these services in the central location. You have to go some kind of outside areas and offer by having some theatres. But again, that will increase your fixed cost. Increase your fixed cost. Clear? So that type of decision making, this analysis is highly useful. Highly useful. Now again the note is explaining this article. Some case studies there you can read. Now look at this graph. This is a graphical representation of break-even analysis. So when you are explaining, they ask you to explain that type of section, you can use this. Numerical examples, graphical representations. Right? So always try to use the examples from your own industry. You have more experience in that industry. Right? So then they will grant you more marks. Right? So this is a graphical representation. We will draw this graphical representation of CVP analysis. Right? We will draw. Now vertical axis, what it represents? Cost or revenue, where the horizontal axis represents volume. Vertical axis cost or revenue, horizontal axis volume. Volume. Right? This axis represents what? Fixed cost. Right? You can see a horizontal line that represents my fixed cost. That's obvious. Even at a zero volume, you have to incur this cost. You have to incur the cost. Sometimes you may increase the volume, decrease the volume of service, more number or less number of operation, but your this cost is constant. This cost is constant. That's why it's a horizontal line. Horizontal line. Fixed cost curve is a horizontal line. Now what about the variable cost curve? Variable cost curve is an upward sloping curve. Variable cost curve is upward sloping curve from the origin. Reason is why? You can see number of operations are more means variable cost that you have to increase also rising. That's why it's upward sloping curve. Now if your number of operations are less means the cost will reduce. Right? Therefore what you can see is the variable cost is from the origin it's upward sloping. Then we have to draw total revenue curve. TR. TR also you can see more number of operation is TR is increased. Total revenue is increased. Right. Total cost curve. Now total cost equal to what? Remember total cost equal to FC plus VC. FC means fixed cost, VC means variable cost. Right. Therefore, your total cost you have to start from here. Reason is even though the unit is 0, there is a total cost which is your fixed cost. Therefore, you start from here. Therefore, from here it's upward sloping. Reason is when more number of units with the fixed cost, variable cost increase. Fixed cost is constant, but still the variable cost is increasing. Therefore, start from here. Variable cost curve. Right. So now after drawing all the cost curves by using the graph, you can calculate the break even. How? Break even means TR is equal to what? TC. Therefore, what we have to find out is what is the point at which total revenue and total cost curve are intersect with each other. So that is TR is equal to TC. Right. Therefore, here total revenue is this curve, total cost curve is this. Therefore, it is intersect is here, which means break even is here. Therefore, this is break even point. Now, if you want to calculate what is the break even point, minimum number of units or minimum number of operations, when you draw a line like this x1, it represents this is the break even number of operations in terms of units. If you want to calculate in terms of value, this is value, right? This vertical axis represents value. You draw up to here, it will give what is the break even point. Right? Therefore, if it is the break even, right, whatever the blue colored area represents what? Expected profits. Blue colored area you can achieve, you are going to produce more than what? X1, which is my break even. Now look at what happened, you are going to produce more than break even means your total revenue is this. Total cost is this. Therefore, your total revenue curve is over the total cost curve. Therefore, this represents what? Margin or the profit. Margin or the profit. Other way if you can get, you are going to produce something less than x1. Right? That means you can see your total revenue is like this, blue colored. Total cost is this. Therefore, this red color represents you are incurring what? Losses. Reason is your total cost curve is over what? Your total revenue curve. Therefore, you end up with a loss. Right? So, this gives you a nice picture. Right? So, even certain bottom variables by using these type of curves, the cost accountant will explain the break-even analysis. Right? Now at any point you can calculate, no, what is my profit, what is my loss. If by using Excel, if you have the graphical chart, right, easily you can calculate at any point. Right, now you can see once more number of units are producing. If you are going away from the break even, what happened to the gap between TR and TC? It getting increased, no? Therefore, here you can see TR and TC gap is high. That means your margin is what? High. TR-TC gap means your margin, right? If you are going away from the break even means again your gap is high, but the problem is here TC minus what? TR. Therefore, you end up with a huge loss. You end up with a huge loss. Okay. Therefore, when you are explaining the question number 1 and question number 5, you can use this graph. Use this type of a graph and also explain some points. And in the question, they also ask some importance. Right? Now you know the importance. The important means what they expect is basically the advantages of CVP analysis. Importance. One important is what? It's a very useful tool for what? Planning and control. Planning and control. Agree? Planning and control, break even is useful. Yes, you can plan ahead, no? Right? Now you know what is your forecasted fixed cost, what is your forecasted variable cost, and also the expected margin. These type of information you gather. Therefore, when you want to plan and control means what? To reduce some fixed cost. At the same time, selling price also you do not want to change that much, even though the fixed cost is increasing. Reason is if you are going to increase the selling price, your quantity demand will comes down if there is a good competitor in the market. Therefore, you want to plan and control. This tool is very important. This tool is very important. Therefore, one of the important advantages is planning and control, right? Especially planning and control what? Fixed cost, variable cost, at the same time selling price of a product or service. Write the point and with explanations. Right? There is more explanations. Second one, it is useful tool to study the feasibility of acquiring the equipment. Acquiring the equipment, oh, now they explain this related to this example. Acquiring the equipment, or acquiring the premises, so whatever the fixed component if you are going to acquire, into what extent useful. Third one is important one. Explain the relationship among volume, prices, and what? Cost. What is the relationship? If you are going to explain more, increase your volume more, what will happen to your fixed cost? That is nicely explained in the diagram, no? Graphical representation. So likewise, what is the relationship between cost, volume, and profit? Volume means what? Number. Right? Production point of view, how many number of units? Service point of view, hospital, how many number of patients? How many number of operations? Right? Private university, how many number of students? Likewise, it explains what is the relationship between these three. Your cost, volume, and profit. That's why it's called CVP analysis. So you can build up a nice relationship by using this graphical representation, no? With cost, volume, and the profits. Therefore, it is useful for what? One is pricing, price the product. Second one is control the cost at the same time other financial decisions, like whether you are acquiring asset, whether you are going to get some long-term debt, which is your fixed cost will increase. Likewise, that type of financial decision also, this analysis is useful. Number 4, practical implications are profit estimation at different level of activity, ascertaining turnover for what? Desired profit. Now your managing director say, I want to achieve 500,000 profit. Calculate and tell me how many number of patients in this hospital we have to attract this week. Right? I think last week we discussed example, no? To achieve a desired profit, how many number of patients or how many number of units that we have to produce and sell. So likewise for a targeted level of profitability, how that we should perform. How that we should perform. It explains. It explains. The main advantages is it explains the relationship between cost volume return. It can extend it to show how changes in fixed cost variable, cost relationship, commodity prices or in revenues will affect the profit level and what? Break even. What it explain? Now let's say you are expecting your fixed cost is now X, but next month you are explaining it's X into the power 2, it will increase. Therefore your break even also will get increase. So likewise your cost structure is changing. Variable cost, now you are having a contracted supply to supply that drug item. But your contract is over, at the same time supply is going to increase your price. That means your variable cost also will get what? Increase. Variable cost will get increase. But in the market sometimes you can't increase your package price or whatever the price that you are offering the product or the service because it may be competitive. So that type of relationship also it explains. It explains. You can calculate and see. Like your revised break even. How much? This month 500, next month it's sometimes maybe 700. Reason is your fixed cost increase. Fixed cost increase. Therefore, what happens if the fixed cost is changing? What happens if the variable cost is changing? Right? Therefore, both are changing. If you are not going to increase your selling price, what happens to your profitability? So those type of decisions explained by this analysis. Explained by this analysis. Okay. And it says more useful for budgeting or capital budgeting techniques. Right? So when you are going to budget your business, right, it is more important information because it's a minimum target, no? You have to meet. Capital budgeting, we are going to discuss this. Capital budgeting means you are going to achieve some projects, right? So let's say there is a new type of projects which is going to be a private hospital that you are going to achieve, right? So you ask your accountant to calculate and tell me, now I am going to achieve this hospital, what should be my break even? Because you want to make a decision, if this is a more break even, which is very difficult to achieve, are you going to invest that? No point of investing because you know that you end up with the loss. You end up with the loss. So that type of decision, also this analysis is useful. This analysis is useful. Therefore, remember, capital budgeting techniques as well as budgeting is concerned is important too. Important. So last one, the major benefit is that the lowest amount of business activity necessary to prevent what? Loss. This is the lowest level, minimum level that we have to go, right, without having any problem, right? But are you going to continue with that level or not is a problem of the management decision making, right? Because always you can't achieve the break even and go ahead, right? First 2 years, okay, you go with at least the break even. Thereafter, you have to achieve something more. Therefore, this explains what is the lowest amount of business activity we have to achieve to survive, just to survive, not to grow, not to grow. Therefore, if you want to grow also, we provide a path, you have to achieve something more than this, something more than this. Clear? Therefore, these are some advantages of break-even analysis. Break-even analysis. And the question, they inquire about limitation or weakness. Right? So, what sort of limitations? One limitation is now you have to accurately predict these costs. Right? What happens if your fixed cost prediction is wrong? Right? Sometimes there may be some minor deviation, but if there is a significant deviation, then you are showing some unnecessary higher breakup, higher break. So likewise, your fixed cost and the variable cost you are going to define or you are going to explain means it's not an easy task. It's not an easy task. Therefore, if your fixed cost is variable cost is giving a significant deviation with comparing your actual, right? That means you are showing a wrong breakup. That's why I say it may be difficult to classify cost, variable or fixed, some cost. That means very difficult based on the nature to classify whether it is a fixed cost or whether it is a variable cost. Variable cost. But that will do some kind of impact your calculation. Impact your calculation. That is the nature of the cost. Based on the nature, sometimes very difficult to identify whether it is a fixed cost or variable cost. Now, for example, if you take a cost like electricity, right, it's a semi-variable cost. Why? There is a fixed element. You use or not, you have to pay a minimum amount. Thereafter, when you are using more number of units, cost creep up. Therefore, most of the utility bills are like that, right? So that is a semi-variable cost. Therefore, whether to classify it as a fixed cost or variable cost is maybe a problem. Maybe a problem. It ignores the price and technology changes and efficiency, right? Especially with the technology, you may be able to reduce your fixed cost, right? Because now you are going to introduce some machine, right? With the technology, you are expecting to increase their efficiency. Therefore, more number of units you can produce. That type of qualitative factors, this analysis will not take into account. Will not take into account. That's a major limitation. Major limitation. And also, it is best suited to analyze one product at a one time, right? So now sometimes the companies or the service organizations are offering different type of product, multiple services. That type of environment, now that you are going to use the break even is a big challenge, right? But as a solution, now there is a weighted break even. You weight it based on the selling price or sales value. There are different techniques, but this is more useful. You are selling one product at a one time. You are offering a one service at a one time. That type of business environment. That's a limitation. That's a limitation. Third one, there may be a tendency to continue to use a break even after the cost and income functions have changed. Sometimes your cost structure, your selling price have been changed, but their management has not incorporated those changes into your break even calculations. Break even calculation. Sometimes to calculate the break even, you have the cost and income structure, but practically it won't implement. Practically, it won't implement. Sometimes they have completely different cost and income structure when you are going to operate. When you are going to operate. Therefore, the break even will be just a book figure. Book figure. Therefore, practically, your cost as well as the income may not be the cost and the income that you are using to calculate your break even. Calculate your break even. So, those are the limitations that we can see this analysis. See this analysis. Right. So you can read the balance, right? So that is available in the handout also. Right. So then you can do question number 1 and question number 5. Then we'll move into the next topic. There are a few calculations that we have to do. That is we call as investment appraisal. Another name, since they are using different words, I am giving all. Capital budget. Investment appraisal, capital budgeting, or project evaluation, all are same. Now, what is capital budgeting is, here what we are going to analyze and see is, into what extent it is worthwhile to acquire some capital projects. Capital projects. Capital project means capital two types. What are the two types? Fixed capital, working capital. Working capital investment means what? You are going to invest the capital to run the daily business. That is we call it as what? Working capital investment. To run the day-to-day operations of the business, you are going to infuse the funds to the business. You are going to infuse the funds to the business. That is working capital investment. Fixed capital investment means what? Fixed capital investment means you are going to invest in long-term projects. Long-term projects. For example, constructions of a housing scheme. Long-term project. Fixed capital investment. Construction of a hospital is what? Long-term capital project. Fixed capital project, not working capital. Construction or building of a private university is what? Fixed capital project. Capital project. Right? So therefore here what we are going to evaluate is whether to go ahead with that fixed capital investment or not. Or based on what factors? Financial factors. Financial factors. You have to evaluate. Why you have to evaluate? Fixed capital projects, what are the characteristics? One is funding is concerned, high or low. Now I told you some examples. Therefore, funding is high, significant. Significant amount of funds you have to invest, no? Not a very small amount of funds. Highly invested funds. Now these projects, completion time is more or less. Completion time is more. If you take a port city, it's a capital expansion project. Right? That needs to be appraised. Recently, sometimes the project may be ending 10 to 15 years time. Therefore, lifetime of the project is what? Long, not short. Right? Understood. Now, funding high, lifetime project is low. Therefore, whatever the investment that you are doing, to get a return, you have to wait for a substantial period of time. No? Right? You are doing an investment, tomorrow you can't get the return. Sometimes you have to wait at least 5 to 6 years to recover your money. Therefore, what about the risk to investing in the capital projects? The risk is. Right. On the other hand, because of the business risk, your earnings can get what? More volatile. Earnings get more volatile. What is volatile? Change. Now, for example, let's say we are going to build up a private hospital. Hospital is going to be start up today, but is going to be end up in another 5 years time. It's a big investment, right? So therefore, we don't know what will be happen in the 5 years time because of the political factors. Maybe income tax rates nowadays, when you are starting the hospital, you may get some exemptions. But once the changing in the government policy, sometimes they will remove that exemption. Tax rate when you are starting up may be 15%. But when you are ending up, sometimes it may be 30%. Right? So, legal and whatever the regulatory bodies, their rules and the regulations applicable may get changed when you are implementing the project. Because of that, your earnings, that means revenue and the cost structure become more volatile, change. Right? So those are the characteristics of capital projects. Now you can understand. Now, can we start the capital project by getting just blind decision? You can't. Therefore, you have to do a very thorough financial analysis when you are going to start up the projects which consist of these characteristics. Right? If the investment portion is significant, high. At the same time, the investment is long term, not short term. In the other words, risk is high. Business risk is concerned, your whatever the revenue has become more volatile. That type of situations, your project is carrying a huge risk. At the same time, your investment is carrying a huge risk. Therefore, you have to evaluate. Evaluation, two types. One is financial evaluation, other one is what? Non-financial evaluation. Financial evaluation we can do by using this topic, which is capital budgeting or project accuracy. Non-financial evaluation means there may be some qualitative factors that you have to consider. Right. Therefore, project appraisal will give you some kind of emphasis to evaluate what? Financial. Right. But remember, not only financial. Right. You have to evaluate the product non-financially also by using the qualitative factors. Qualitative factors. Because some projects when you calculate, we are using some techniques for this. Let's say net present value is positive. Right? But there may be some kind of non-financial factors that may be applied. Example, changes in government regulation. Right? Sometimes it may be because of the public pressure. Likewise, there may be some non-financial factors which may be applied. Right? Those non-financial factors also we have to consider. We have to consider. Right? These are the techniques that we can use when we are financially evaluating a project. Financially evaluating a project. Capital budget, not working capital investments. Right? First one is what? Payback period. Payback. These are the techniques. Investment appraisal law, capital budgeting techniques. In other words, to evaluate the project financially, what are the techniques that we are using? Payback period, first one. Second one, after the payback, there is another one, not included here, discounted payback period. First one, payback. Second one, discounted payback period. Third one, accounting rate of return, within brackets ARR. Accounting rate of return. Number 4, this order I'll change it. Net present value. Net present value. Number 4, net present value. Within brackets NPV. Short version is NPV. Net present value means NPV. Number 5, internal rate of return. Internal rate of return. Within brackets IRR. Next one, the last one, profitability index. Within brackets PI. Now first one, payback period. Payback period means this. Length of time taken to repay initial capital cost. Right now, any capital budgeting project, you have initial capital cost. Initially, it's an outflow, no? You have to invest. Right? Let's say in your hospital, you want to buy a capital equipment, some machines for your operation theatre. There is an initial capital cost that you have to incur. No? So that is the capital investment that you are going to do. Therefore, payback period, what we are going to calculate is, what is the time period the business will take to recover that initial capital cost? What is the time period to recover the Initial capital cost. That is explained by using what? Payback period. Payback means that. Example. We'll do example. Write down this example. Not this one. I'll give example. You can see, huh? Right. Look at this question number 5. Following are the information related to two mutually exclusive capital budgeting projects of the speedy recovery healthcare providers. Mutually exclusive means what? Out of the two projects, you are having funds only to accept one. Only to accept one. Right? Mutually exclusive means that. Right? So you don't have funds to accept all the projects. Out of two, you can go for one. You can go for one. Management want to analyze two projects, decide which one to accept. Right? Now they have 2 or 3 projects, but the management doesn't have funds to invest in all the projects. Funds are limited. Right? Sources of finance not available. Right? By using the capital budgeting techniques, recommend the management which project to go ahead by using payback NPV, likewise, whatever the techniques. Right? Now they are giving the information about the two projects, project A and project B in million. Better to get the information. Project A, project B, 2 projects. Right? These 2 projects are going to be operated by these healthcare providers. Rupees in million. Initial capital investment. Project A is 1000. Project B is 1200. Right? Therefore, this initial capital investment is cash outflow or cash inflow. Cash outflow. Right? So, therefore, if you want, you can write down within brackets. Right? Usually, this discipline within brackets means it's outflow. Within brackets means it's a outflow. Therefore, initial capital you have to invest A1000, B1200. So thereafter they are giving you some substantial subsequent cash inflows. No? As you know in a project, first you should have some kind of outflow. Thereafter it will generate the inflows. Now year 1, project A, we are expecting first year to generate 300 million. Project B is expecting to generate what? 400 million. Remember, all these are expected cash inflows and expected cash outflows. It's very obvious because we are going to analyze before accepting the project. Therefore, this is going to be happening in the future. Second year, we are expecting as an inflow how much? Project A 400 million. Project B how much? 275 million. 275 million. And secondly, another thing will happen. What is that? Not only fixed capital, now you should have some investment fund for what? Working capital. Therefore, working capital investment project A required how much? 150 million, where project B required how much? 100 75 million. That's a inflow or outflow. That's how. Therefore, within brackets. Third year, we are expecting project A to generate 500 million, project B to generate how much? 650 million. So likewise, fourth year and the fifth year also, they are giving you the expected cash inflows by investing in these two projects. Both projects are what? Capital investment project because you need substantial amount. And the project is going to be completed based on the cash flow schedule provided 5th year. 5 years it will go. Because within 5 years also we don't know what is happening. Therefore risk. So you are going to evaluate financially and see whether I am going to accept project A or project B. Right? By looking at the initial investment, which project that you will accept? A or B? Capital investment, fixed capital investment is less in A, 1000. Therefore, one can say, I will accept A. No need to have any evaluation. But that's wrong. Reason is you have to analyze what? Other subsequent cash inflows and outflows also because this scenario can get changed. Initially, you have to invest with less. But based on the expected inflows and outflows, this entire scenario can get changed. Now, one technique that we are using is what? Payback. Right. Now, payback means what? To recover the initial capital investment, what is the time period project will take? Now, based on this example, if you define, to recover the initial capital investment of 1000 million, what is the time period project A will take? Right. If I am going to invest in project B, to recover the initial capital investment of 1200, what is the duration project B will take? What is the duration project B will take? How to calculate? Payback. First, you have to get year. Year 0 means today. Right? Year 0 means today, that is now. Right? Year 1 means what? At the end of year 1. That's how the project cash flows has been given. At the end. Year 2 means at the end of year 2. We are preparing a table. We have to calculate what is the accumulated cash flows. Accumulated. Right? Payback project A. Accumulated cash flows. Now year 0, which is today, what is the accumulated cash flows of project A? That's an investment. Therefore, outflow of how much? 1000. Outflow of 1000. Nothing to accumulate. See, year 1, what is the accumulated cash flow? You have inflow of how much? 300. Right? You have an inflow of 300. Then how much is the accumulated? Minus 1000 plus 300 means still minus 700. That means when you are ending the year 1, project A, still you have to recover. How much? 700. Still you have to recover 700. When you come to the second year, how much? 400 is your inflow means 300. 300. Working capital investment payback, are you going to consider? No. Payback, what we are going to see is to recover my fixed initial capital. Because what is the time period I have to wait? Therefore, working capital investment for the payback, it won't apply. It won't apply. Then come to the year 3. How much is the interest? 500. Therefore, it will become now how much? Positive 200. Which means, when you come to at the end of the third year, you already recover your what? Initial investment. Therefore, your payback is in between second year and the third year. It will convert it into 0. That means you recover your initial investment. Therefore, how to calculate? 2 years plus The balance you have to calculate now. 12 months, within 12 months, second to third year, you will get how much? 200. Sorry, not 200. Second to third year, what is your cash flow? 500. Second to third year, you are getting 500. Therefore, to recover 300, what is the time period that you have to wait? This will give you number of months. Number of months. 2 years plus how many months? How many months? 12 months, second to third year, you will get 500. Therefore, to recover this 300, because to be recovered and to be paid back, you need how much? 300 to. What is the time period? That is how many months that you have to wait. This calculation will calculate. So, means 7 months. Therefore, what is the payback of project A? 2 years and 7 months. 2 years and 7 months. In other words, to recover the initial capital investment of 1000, if you invest in project A, you have to wait 2 years and 7 months. 2 years and 7 months. Now calculate in B. Same. Next one B. Capital 1200. Then there will be inflow of 450. So at the end of year 1, 750. Then will be 275. 475. Then you are having 650. Then it will become positive. Therefore, you will recover that also within second and third. Calculate NT 2 years plus 12 months, that is second to third year. Within 1 year, you are getting 650. Project B. To recover 475, how many months? How many months? 8.7, we can get as 9 months. 2 years and 9 months. So which means project B, to recover the initial capital investment, they have to wait how much? 2 years and 9 months. Where project A, 2 years and 6 months. 7 months. Therefore, there won't be that much of difference in terms of payback, whether it is project A or project B. But still, project A will give you a due advantage because within 2 months early, it will recover its initial capital cost. Initial capital cost. No, I ignore the working capital investment here. Reason, capital budgeting, main principle is you look at how you are going to recover your fixed capital. Payback means that working capital we will consider in other techniques. But says in the payback period, principally what we want is to recover how much that I am investing at year 0. In other words, how many years it will take? How many years it will take, right? Because there may be some other unnecessary cash flows will come in between. That we can't predict sometimes, right? Therefore, based on this, it's very clear our accepted criteria is project. Right? Now, payback, how that you can judge based on the payback, whether to accept the project or reject the project. If the payback is higher, are you going to accept? Payback higher means what? To recover your initial cost, you have to wait for a long period of time. That type of a project you reject. Right? Payback low means you recover your initial capital cost quickly. That type of a project you accept. Sometimes your entrepreneur may have a targeted payback. He may say, I need to recover my initial capital within 1.5 years. Targeted payback. Therefore, when you compare with the targeted payback, both these projects are you going to go ahead or reject? Both these projects are rejected, right? Because both these projects payback suggests you can't recover your capital like that. You have to wait more than 1 year and 6 months. Therefore, sometimes you have to compare with the targeted payback also, especially small type of family businesses or big businesses. They have some targeted payback. Targeted payback. Okay. Right. So that's one criteria that we are using to calculate the projects. Calculate the payback.
The break you want? I will it's okay.
Submission date for the assignment is on August, no? July? I, I asked them to put around August. They won't put it in July because you need bit time. No? Post August, no? Ah, right. Then no problem. Initially they send on July, but I say that give at least another 2 weeks. Then you can do more. No? August, no? Right. Then you have bit of time. Exam also there. That's usually how we are doing in India. That's a very common factor. All assignments. What is the proportion for the assignment now? Is 100 marks? Is 50? 60, no? Exam 40. Exam is open book. Open. Pass mark is 50, right? 50 or 60? 50.
This one.
Yeah.
Yes.
Ah, right.
After payback, the second method is
Before accounting rate of return, There is another one called discounted payback. Discounted payback. Now, discounted payback, what we have to see is again to recover the invested funds, capital invested funds. What is the time period? But all these cash flows we want to convert it into discounted cash flows. Discounted cash flows. By using a suitable discount rate. Suitable discount rate. Now, discount rate, this is the rate which needs to be given by the examiner to discount your cash flows. Cash flows. Right. Now, for example, here, project A, year 0. So, let's say in this project, we'll assume discount rate is 10%. Just assume. Discount rate is how much? 10%. So, likewise, the examiner should given what is the discount rate that you have to use to discount the cash. So, therefore, if the discount rate is 10%, based on this, we should be able to calculate the discount factor. Something called discount factor. How to calculate the discount factor is 1 divided by 1 plus I into the power n. I means whatever the discount rate that they are giving. I means the discount rate. In this question, I means how much? 10%. So now, for example, if I take year 0, I want to calculate the discount factor. How much is the discount factor? 1 divided by 1 plus I means 1.1 into the power 0. So that means 1. Discounting factor is 1. At year 0 means current today. When you come to the year 1, what is the discounting factor? 1 divided by 1.1 into the power 1. So likewise calculate the discounting factor. Second year 1.1 divided by 2. Now, basically, discounting factor means what? Now, if you are going to invest in rupee today, 1 rupee, what is the current value? Now, year 0 means today. No? If you are going to get rupee 1 today value is 1. But if you are going to get rupee 1 after 1 year, what is the value? Value will comes down. Right? 1 divided by 1.1. Therefore, how much is the value? 0.909. So, likewise, each and every one, we have to calculate each and every year what is the discount factor that we are using. This one. Yeah. This we called as discount factor. Right? All the cash inflows and the outflows we have to discount to the present value terms. Reason is these cash inflows and the outflows they are going to get after number of years. Therefore, we have to calculate what is the value today. What is the value today? For that, we have to discount the cash inflows and the outflows by using what factor? Discount factors. Discount factors. Right? To calculate the discount factor question, they have to give you whatever the discount rate. Now, in this question, examiner is given discount rate is 10%. Formula to calculate the discount factor is 1 divided 1 plus I into the power 10. Right? Now, when you come to the second year, first year when you are calculating 1 divided by 1 plus I means 10% means how much? 0.1. Therefore, 1.1 into the power 10 means 0. Right? That means into the power 0 means 1. Therefore, the discounting factor is 1 at year 0. Year 0 means today. Right? At the end of the year 1, 1 divided by 1.1 into the power 1. Therefore, 0.909. 909. Second year, 1 divided by 1.1 into the power 2. Using a calculator, you can 0.826. So likewise, you have to calculate the discounting factor first for all the years. All the years. Right. Up to 50. 50. Calculate the discounting factors. Right? You calculate the discounting factor. Right? What do you mean by this discounting factor is, now if you are going to get a rupee 1 at the end of the year 1, what is the value today? 0.9. 0.9. Because you are going to get rupee 1 at the end of year 1. Therefore, based on the inflation and everything we consider, when we discount, today value is how much? 0.90. When you are going to get a rupee value, right, when you are, what you can see is when you go to the 5th year, your value comes down, no? Value comes down. Therefore, at the end of the 5th year, you are going to get 1 rupee. But today value is how much? 0.62. Its value only that much. Right? Because when you are going to get your cash flows in the future, the present value terms, today value terms, that value comes down when you consider the inflation. When you consider the inflation. Now you have to discount all the cash flows. Right? Now, you know year 0 we have 1000. That's outflow. Year 1, 300, 400, 500, 400, 250 cash flows. Then we have to calculate what is the value of discounted cash flows. Discount. Now all these cash flows we have to discount. Discount. How to discount? First year, cash flow multiplied by the discounting factor. Now what is the first year, year 0 discounting factor? 1. Cash flow multiplied by the discounting factor. Second year, 300. Discounting factor is 0.909. Second is 30. Seven, 5, 1. Six, 8. Six, 2, 1. You have to discount. You have to multiply it by the. All these are future cash flows. Now I am going to discount it for the today. Right. Future you are getting 250. That is at the end of the 5 years. I have to calculate what is the value today. What is the value today? Value will reduce. Right. Then you are getting discounted cash flows 1000. 300 multiplied by 909. 273. 330. 336. 273. 'Right? Discounted cash flow. What this means? At the end of the first year, your future cash flow is how much? 300. But when we are discounting that value for the today, what is the value of 300 today? 273. 273. 1000 value will change. Why? 1000 you are going to invest in today. Therefore, today value is equal to the same value. Same value. Now, fifth year, you are expecting future cash flow is how much? 250. After 5 years, you are expecting 250. What is the value of today? 155 based on the 10% discounting factor. 10% discounting factor. Value less because of the inflations and everything. At the end of the 5th year, you are getting 250. Value creep up, no. But today value is far more less. 150. So likewise, all these cash inflows and outflows, rather than taking as it is, we are discounting by using what? Discounting factor. Discounting factor. Then you end up with the discounted cash flows. Now the same way you can calculate what? Discounted payback. Now all these are discounted cash flows, not just future cash flows. Therefore you can calculate accumulated discounted cash flows. Accumulated. Year 0 accumulated discounted cash flow. Year 0 1000. First year 727, still negative. At the end of the second year 397, still negative. Still you didn't recover. In other words, your initial investment. Next year
21 still negative. Next year 273 is now it will become positive. Therefore you recover in P. Now what is your discounted payback? Not just payback. Payback based on future cash flow. Where discounted payback based on what? Discounted future cash flow by using the predetermined discounting factor. Therefore, we have provided our cash flow for factors like inflation change, interest rate change. Right? Based on that, we calculate the discounting factor. Discounting. Right? Discounting factor usually given. You don't want to. Now, what is the discounted payback is now up to 4 years is negative. 4 years plus you calculate the number of months. 12 months to recover discounting cash flow 4 to 50 year how much? Sorry, it's not 4 years. 0, 1, 2, 3. 3 years plus 3 to 4 your discounted cash flow is 12 months to get 376. How many months for 21? 21 to be recovered to convert into 0. Therefore, full years is concerned. 2 years. No? 0, 1, 2. 2 years. Full 2 years. Right? Recover the initial investment in first year. 0. Year 0, not first year, 0. At the end of year 1, still negative. At the end of year 2, right? Sorry. Here. At the end of year 3 also it's negative. 3 to 4, it will become positive. That means you recover your initial investment within 3 to 4, right? Therefore, 3 to 4, your cash flow 12 months is 273. Therefore, 21 to be recovered, how many months you have to wait? How many months you have to wait? Yeah, almost 1 month. 3 years and 1 month. That means basically, that's why, right? Up to 3 years, you already recovered whatever the major investment. Only 21 is there, right? But these figures are in millions rupees. Therefore, 3 years and 1 month. It will take discounted payback. Right? That is different from payback. Payback, you are putting a different answer. No? You did not discount the cash. That's why. Calculate project B also. How much is the discounted payback? Discounting factor you already have it. For both the project, discounting factor is same, 10%. Therefore, you have to calculate only what? Discounted cash flow. Reason is their cash flows are different. Right? How to calculate the discounted cash flow? Whatever the future cash flow multiplied by the discounting factor. Then you are getting the discounted cash flows. Then you have to calculate based on the discounted cash flow, accumulated discounted cash flow.
In a scientific calculator, it's easy to take. So all the functions are there. Now here 0, how to get the discounted? You have 1200, that's the initial capital investment. Then 450, 275, 650, 300, 275. This comes to 2. These are the discounted cash flow. Now you can see if here we are expecting 275, that is future cash flow, but the present value is how much? When you discount only 175 is the value. Right? That is after 5 years, you are getting 275. Today's value is 171. In other words, if you invest 171 today, 50 year you can get how much? 275. Discount at 10%. 10%. Third year, 650. Today value is how much? 488. Other words, if you invested 488 today, right, at a discount rate is 10%, at the end of the third year you are getting how much? 650. Reason is why we are discounting? Because we are doing the investment today, no? Therefore, right, it's not a balance comparison. You are going to compare today investment with the cash flows you are going to get in another 10 to 15 years time. Therefore, what I have done is to compare with the today's outflow, all the inflows I converted into the today's value. Then you can compare. Now accumulated 1200. Yeah. 791. Still negative, not recovered. Yes, 564, not recovered. 76, not recovered. Then you recover. Yeah. So therefore, in between third and the fourth year, 3 years pass, 12 months to recover 205. How many months to recover? 76. Yeah. So basically 3 years and how many months? 4 months. To recover your investment of 1200 based on what? Discounted payback.
Now, what is the difference between previous method and this method? Which one is much more effective as an evaluation tool? Yes, this reason is here, by using the discounting factor, we discount all the future cash flows to the present value terms. Then we compare with the initial investment that we are doing it today. Therefore, we consider what value of money? Time value of money. Remember, if you are going to discount your cash inflows and the outflows, you consider what? Time value of money. Money is having what value? Time value. Right. That's why when you are investing in a fixed deposit, they are giving you interest. They are giving you interest. Why? Time value of money. Time value of money. Today you may be invested in 1,000, but another 10 years time you may get 100,000. That is time value of money. But even though 10 years time you are getting 100,000, today value is the 1,000. Today value is the 1,000. That's the meaning of time value of money. Therefore, if you want to consider the time value of money for your payback, what is the method you have to follow? Discounted payback period. Discounted payback. Okay. Right. We will note down that. Right. Discounted payback. The difference between these two is payback period consider only what? Future cash inflows and the future cash outflows. Where discounted payback consider whatever the discounted cash inflows and the discounted cash outflows. Payback period ignore what? Time value of money. Where discounted payback we consider the time value of money. Time value of. Now what is our decision rule? Is it changing? Decision rule will not change. What is the decision rule for payback? Higher payback we are not going to accept. We are going to accept what? Lower payback. Lower payback. Here also that decision rule stand as it is. It won't change. It won't change. But this is more powerful than what? Payback. Especially when you are having a huge amount of capital investment and this is going to be recovered. Let's say it is only 5 years. Therefore, time value of money, that impact is very less. That's why payback and discounted payback, you won't get that much of deviate answer. Almost the answer is same. Reason is lifetime of the project is only 5 years. But if you are going to operate this for 20 to 25 years, definitely you will get a different answer. Because 20 to 25 years means your cash flows will get discounted more. Discounted more. Therefore, there will be a big difference between payback and the discounted payback answers. Discounted payback answers. Since the lifetime is only 5 years, the impact here is very less. Right? Therefore, what is the message it gives? If you are having some extended lifetime of the project, for example, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, definitely rather than payback, you have to depend on what? Discounted payback. That means time value of the money, definitely you have to consider. Okay. Right. That is the second method. Third method.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
In the assignment, question number 4.
Yeah, I'll come there. I'll come there. There are 2 questions on this. I'll explain that. Right. Next one. Accounting rate of return. Short term ARR. ARR. ARR means comparison of the profit generated by the investment with the cost of the investment. Comparison of the profit, not the cash flows. Right? The profits are different from the cash flows. Right? Because when the profits are come, there are some non-cash flow items also you have raised. Right? Therefore, here what we are going to do is the evaluation method based on what? Accounting profits. Accounting profit. That's why it's called what rate of return? Accounting rate of return. Accounting rate of return.
Comparison of the profit generated by the investment with the cost of the investment. With the cost of the investment. Formula is this: average annual return or annual profit divided by initial cost of the investment multiplied by 100. That is missing. ARR is equal average annual profit divided by cost of the investment multiplied by 100. Now write down this question. Write down this question. Calculate ARR. Because the question that we have discussed, they have cash flows, not the profits. Right? If you want to calculate, then cash flows I have converted into what? Profits. Right? That information has not been provided. What are the non-cash flow? Otherwise, cash flows also can convert it into profit in the information. Right? Write down this question. Following are the information related to purchase of machinery. Purchase of machinery to the business. Business is expecting 25% of ARR. Calculate ARR and recommend whether to buy the machinery or not. Whether to buy the machinery or year 0 capital investment to buy the machinery. Yeah. Rupees in million, let's say 500 capital investment. Year 1 profit, accounting profits. $200. Second year, 400. Third year, 100. Fourth year, 150. Fifth year, 175. These are the annual profits that they are expecting, right, by introducing this new machinery. Investing in machinery is also a capital investment, fixed capital investment. Business is doing. So I want to calculate ARR. First figure I need what? Average annual profits. Now how to get the average annual profit? They are giving annual profit. Now you can see 1 year to the other year, annual profits are different. How to get the average? Sum of these annual profit divided by how many years we consider? 5. Right? How many years we consider? 5. Sigma fx divided by sigma f. Get the annual profits average. Therefore, 200 plus 400 to 400, 150, 175. Total profit 1025 over the period of 5 years. Therefore, my average is 200 average annual profits divided by what is my capital investment. To buy this machinery, I have to invest 500 million. Then you calculate what is the ARR. Right? Therefore, ARR is how much? 41%. Right? Now we are expecting what is the accounting rate of return? 25%. 25%. That means buying machinery will give us what? Higher ARR than we expected. So in that case, your decision is based on the financial criteria, not the non-financial. Qualitative factors, you go ahead with the machinery. Buy the machinery. Then the decision rule for ARR is higher ARR, good or bad? Good. So that means it generates more accounting rate of return. But higher payback, good or bad? Higher payback is bad. Reason is to recover the investment, the investor has to wait a long period of time. Different techniques, decision criteria are different. Therefore, remember ARR decision criteria is higher the ARR, accept. Lower the ARR, what? Reject. Now let's say examiner will give you two different projects, calculate ARR. One ARR is 15%, other ARR is 30%. Right? Therefore, you accept the 30% one, which gives you higher accounting rate of return. Right? Here, there is not that much of comparison. Reason is two projects are not compared. What happened is they are giving you a target ARR. That is my target. My target is how much? 25%. Now this gives 41% means yes, this is goal. This is goal. Okay. That is accounting rate of return. Accounting rate of return. Right. Now what is the advantage of this criteria? Right. Different techniques having advantages and the disadvantages. Now discounted payback advantage is what? It considers the time value of money. Right. Payback period. The advantage is the calculation is not that much of complex. Reason is you don't want to discount the cash flows. But here, what is the advantage? Calculations are complex. Calculations are simple. If you are getting the profitability based on the income statement, right, or whatever the expected profitability based on the expertise who are doing this type of a project, easily you can calculate. Right? Therefore, calculations are not complex. Comparison is concerned also not that much of complex. No? Higher ARR means return is high. Therefore, you accept lower return means you reject. What is the drawback? Here you consider profit, not what? Cash flows. At least not the cash flows. Right? Only accounting profit. Accounting profits are different from the cash flows. Right? Another drawback means are you consider time value of money here? You don't consider any time value of money. You can't consider because you have only profits, not the cash flows. Not the cash flows. Therefore, this is just a return from the viewpoint of what? Accounting, bookkeeping. This is the return that this machine will generate. Right? Therefore, bookkeeping or accounting profits has been considered to calculate the ARR, not the cash flow. They didn't consider a time value of money. Time value of money. Therefore, this evaluation is good, right? For the projects which are having not a very lengthy lifetime, only 5 years, 4 years lifetimes, and also not a very heavy capital investment, buying a machinery, right? Buying a vehicle, right? That type of projects, this is okay, right? But it's constructing a housing complex, constructing some kind of a hospital, that type of big projects where time maturity is high, this criteria may not be applicable. Okay. You should know some drawbacks. They can ask some advantages of using this. Because sometimes you have to take a call. What criteria that I have followed? These are options. You can calculate payback, discounted payback, ARR, likewise, different options to evaluate the capital projects. Capital projects. Right? ARR. Next, this is the most important evaluation criteria. NP, net present value. Net present value means this. Takes into account the fact that money values change what? Time. Net present value, we assume the value of the money will change with the time. Likewise, in the discounted payment, we calculate the discounted cash flows. How much would you need to invest today to earn X amount in what? X years in time, in simple words. Right? If you need X amount in X years time, how much that you invest today? That is net present value. Value of money is affected by interest rates, right? Not only by interest rate, but also what? Inflation, right? The money value can get affected mainly because of what? One is interest rate, other one is what? Inflation, right? So because of the inflation rate and the interest rate increase, value of the money comes down. Value of the money comes down. Purchasing power of the money comes down. NPV helps to take these factors into what? Consideration. Right. This is the formula to calculate the NPV. Net present value is equal present value of expected cash inflows minus present value of expected cash outflows. Present value. Right. How to get the present value of expected cash inflows? You get the future cash inflows multiplied by the discounting factor. How to get the present value of expected cash outflows? Get the future cash outflows multiplied by the discounting factor. Present value. Now, present value of expected cash inflows greater than present value of expected cash outflows means NPV is positive or negative? NPV positive. Present value of the expected inflows are more than outflows. NPV positive. That type of a project you accept or reject? Accept. Present value of expected cash outflows are greater than inflows means NPV what? Negative. That type of a project definitely you have to what? Reject. No point. Right? It's the decision criteria. Let's say both projects are having positive when you calculate, but two mutually exclusive projects. You can accept one. Which one you accept? Project with what? Higher NPV. Higher NPV means have higher present value of the expected inflows than what? Outflows. That is, you accept higher NPV. Higher NPV. the most powerful tool and most common tool. Most of the businesses are using. Right? We'll do example, then you understand it better. Now these two projects calculate the NPV, A and B. Now discounted cash flow, no need to calculate again. You have, because of the discounted payback, you have the discounted cash flow. You already calculated. Here also assume the discounting factor is how much? 10%. We didn't change. Same discounting factor continue. Present value of expected cash inflows and present value of expected cash outflows. Right? All these cash flows are what? Future. These are future cash inflows and the future cash outflows. Therefore, all these things we have to reconvert it into present value terms. Present value terms. Today's value. Today's value. Right? Discounting factor 10%. Discounting rate 10%. Project A, year 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Cash flows, thousand, 300, 400. Second year, remember there is a working capital investment also you have to consider. Say that we didn't consider, but NPV, all the cash inflows and the outflows we have to consider. Third year, 500. Fourth year, 400. Fifth year, 250. Discounting factor you are having 0, 1. 1 divided by 1.1, 0.909. Second year, 26. Then you can calculate present value of cash flows. 1000 multiplied by 1, likewise. Minus 1000. 273. 330, and there is outflow also. Second year 826. 124 minus 155. Percent value. So all the cash inflows and the outflows. We consider all, right? The NPV you can calculate equal present value of cash inflows. How much? 273, 300, 376, 273, 155, 1407. Minus present value of cash outflows 1124. There are two outflows, this plus this. Fixed capital investment, in between what? Working capital investment. then you end up NPV is 283 positive. Positive. This means this project, if you operate up to 5 years, there is a high chance that you end up with a 283 million positive NP, net present value terms. Calculate project B, same way. Project B, how much is NP? Plus 161. So therefore A and B, based on the NP, which one you accept? A. Reason is present value terms, a very strong criteria. Project A, present value of cash inflows are greater than the present value of cash outflows. Therefore NPV is high in project A. Therefore you accept project B. Now, what are the positive things about this criteria? Consider what? Time value of money throughout the project, no? Throughout the project. Time value of money. Because time value of the money can change because of what? Interest rate as well as what? Inflation rates. That time value of the money is considered and all the future cash flows discount into what? Present value terms, today's value. Today's value. Other important criteria in other projects, you can remember I stopped from here, no? Third year to fourth year, when we recover the investment, we forget. Right? Therefore, this project considers the lifetime of what? All the cash inflows what? And outflows. Therefore, entire lifetime of the project, all the inflows and the outflows taken into consideration. No? Pay back just to recover the investment. Thereafter, whatever the subsequent cash inflows and the outflows, we completely ignore. But in this criteria, entire lifetime of the project, all the inflows, all the outflows, we considered for what? Evaluation. We considered for the evaluation. All the inflows and the outflows throughout the lifetime of the project. What are the drawbacks? What is the discounting factor I use? 10%. Now let's say if I change the discounting factor into 15%, this entire scenario can be what? Changed. Therefore, this criteria is heavily depend on what? Discounting factor. Another name for discounting factor is cost of capital. There are different methods to calculate what? Cost of capital. This NPV, even not NPV, discounted payback, highly depend on what? This discounting factor cost of capital. If you are using, let's say this 10% is wrong, right? Now you are saying accept the project, right? Therefore, your entire decision is wrong. Therefore, we are heavily depending on what? The calculation of what? Discounting rate or the discounting factor. Right? Therefore, calculation of the discounting factor into what extent it accurate is a question. Other difficult one is, now this is only 5 years, 10 to 15 years project, very difficult to project sometimes the entire lifetime of the project, what are the future cash outflows and what are the future cash inflows. Therefore, when the lifetime is more, 10 to 15 years, it is highly challenging to predict what? Future cash inflows and outflows. Now here I am saying working capital investment in second year. Sometimes fourth year also you may recover the working capital investment. Right? Therefore, it's highly challenging, risky to predict the future cash inflows and outflows once the lifetime of the project is expanding. Especially 10 year, 15 year, 20 years like. Those are some of the challenges NPV method is. Okay, NPV. Next one, profitability index. Profitability index. Profitability index is the formula to calculate the PI, net present value divided by initial capital cost. NPV divided by initial capital cost. This allows comparison of the cost and benefits of different projects to be assessed, allow decision making to be carried out. Not only NPV, right? Here, what we are going to do is we are going to calculate the index by comparing NPV of the project with what? Initial investment that you are going to do. You are going to do like this. Same example take. Now you have the calculations. Project A and B. How much is NPV? A 280. Positive. B 161. Initial investment 1000. 200. Then we can calculate PI. NPV 283 divided by 1000. Right. Here what we are going to do, I think you understood, if you understood the criteria. We are going to compare not only NPV. Sometimes your project will generate a higher NPV, that's true. But for that, you have to incur a huge capital investment. Huge capital investment. Therefore, you have to compare to generate this NPV, how much is the capital investment that I have to invest. Right? Therefore, based on this, you are accepting A or B. Right? You have to accept A. Profitability index is high. Therefore, always accept the project with higher profitability index. This question, based on the NPV, what is your decision? A. Based on profitability index also A, but some other reason it can be different. Based on NPV, you will say A, but when you calculate the profitability index also, you are getting a higher profitability index for B. Reason is, even though NPV is less, their initial capital investment also may be less. Maybe less. Because of that, you are getting a higher profitability index. Right? NPV less, but investment also less. Right? So that time sometimes management will decide rather than A, profitability index high in B, will go ahead with what? We'll go ahead with the okay. What are the advantages or positive about this? One positive thing is it's a comparison of not only NPV with what? The capital cost that the investor have to incur, initial cost. Right. Other advantages are like NPV, time value of money considered, entire project lifetime cash inflows and outflows considered, entire lifetime. Right. So therefore, when you are calculating the NPV, don't blindly take decision based on the NPV. Compare with the investment and see, with comparing to the investment whether ratio is high. Sometimes your project may generate a higher NPV, but you have to incur a very huge initial capital cost. Other project little bit low NPV comparatively, but their cost will be substantially high. Therefore, you have to go with what? Project B, financial. Okay, right. So those are the main criteria. IRR usually will discuss. Sometimes it's not tested in the assignment. Now look at the assignment. There are a few questions. Part B, second question. Read the question. See whether now you can do that. No need to do, you have to do later. Drone Limited is considering two mutually exclusive projects. Cash flows for those projects has been given, X and Y. Right? Initial outlay. Initial outlay means what? Initial capital investment. They have not been given here. Initial capital investment obviously at year what? 0. Year 0. Year 0 means now. Year 0 means now. And inflows from first year to fifth year given project X and Y. Right? So they have been given Maldivian currency 800,000. 800,000 is the initial capital investment. Same initial capital investment that the expected inflows may differ. You can see project X 1 to 5 it gives 200,000 inflow, where project Y it gives only inflow at the end of 50 year 1,040. Question number 1, required rate of return. Required rate of return is another name for what? Discounting rate. Discounting rate. Different words. Discounting rate, cost of capital, required rate of return, all are same. Now, required rate of return is how much? 12% per annum. Right. That is what? That is useful to calculate your discounting factor. In our example, it is 10%. Right. They say it's 12%, bit high. First one, 5 marks. calculate each project what? Payback period. Payback period. 2, calculate the NPV. Third one, still we didn't do IRR. Fourth one, calculate the profitability index. Last one, they are recommended what is the appropriate project to be accepted. Right. So based on the discussion that we have done. Then there is another question. Question number 4. Considering investing two mutually exclusive projects and the free cash flow associated with the projects given. Project A and B, initial outlay, 1 to 5 cash flows given, right? Required rate of return in this case is how much? 15%. They have been changed, not 12%. Don't apply 12, here it's 15. Calculate payback, NPV, discounted payback, this question, profitability index, finally give which project to be recommended. Which project to be recommended. Clear? Any questions? IRR will discuss. You had a question? Assignment. Question?
We type it on Excel.
Sorry?
Type this on Excel.
Yes. Right. The Excel, of course, you don't want to do any calculations. Right. Excel also you can do. You are giving soft copies. Yeah, table of course you can do in Excel. Yeah. So anyway, the required knowledge needs to be applied. Excel knows only the multiplications and the divisions. But in Excel also there is a way to calculate NPV by using a formula. Don't do that. Right? So there are some formulas in the Excel where NPV, if you give the NPV value. Likewise, you do not want to calculate. By here, the examiner is expecting you to calculate. Likewise, we calculate, right? Which demonstrate that you know the concept. Right? Excel also have all these payback, discounted payback. It gives you the final answer. Okay. Right. IRR will discuss. It takes some time after the lunch. Any questions? You had a doubt, no? Son? No, not yet. So all the criteria they ask you.
So, yeah, required rate of return is a discounted rate.
Yes, the discount rate. 15%. That's your question. But here actually I don't know why they have repeated the same question. Right? They have given the question number 3 also project evaluation, question number 1. Only difference is here they are asking you to calculate the discounted payback and the discount rate is 15%. Right? So what they should have done is the previous question they should ask the candidate to calculate the around is 12%. Now it has been changed in 15%. Calculate and see any variations when the required rate of return has been changed. Right? Okay. In the exam also this part is usually highly tested. They have to better to have to understand. The formulas and all these things, I don't think difficult formulas. Most of them are difficult formulas. But if you understood the concept, that's it. Have a lunch break.